Okay, I know there are quite a few of you who listened to my other video about effectively and efficiently managing your nervous system, taking it all back to your thoughts, and then telling you at the end, well, you just got to manage your thoughts. So, for anyone who in their brain said, yeah, thanks, tips, how do I actually do that? This video is for you. So, you're right. There's a lot of complications with that. And that's why it's easier said than done. I know many, many years ago when I went through my healing and learning and growth process, all of this stuff made sense. It really did. And I wanted it. I wanted it so bad. But do you think I could actually make it happen? No. That took a lot of trial and error. That took a lot of blood and sweat. Like that, oh my goodness, thinking back to it was such a painful process. So I hope that the information I share with you can help streamline that process for you. For me, every time I seen something like that, I'm like, yeah, it sounds great, but how? But how? But how? So anyways, when it comes to effectively managing your thoughts, like I mentioned at the end of the last video, you do have to develop the skill of awareness. You do have to raise your conscious awareness. You can't change what you're not aware of. And that is something that takes time, but it doesn't take like months and years. It takes like weeks. It's really not that bad when you know how to do it. Okay. So in order to raise your awareness, you have to really do some customized activities in order to be able to do that. Now, something that is really important for you to understand in the interim, or even through the process of developing those skills so they become automatic, is a little bit about how the brain works. So inside of your brain, there are different parts and components and all these fancy names, but I like to talk about the automatic part of the mind and then, the awareness part of the mind. So, where you actually have awareness, what you're aware of, what you're thinking, it only makes up to like maybe 5-10% of your thought processes. The vast majority of what you think and what gets processed through your mind is at the automatic level. It's at the brainstem. And through there, like upward of 95, maybe even more than that percent takes place. So your thoughts do cause chemical reactions that you feel physically, emotionally, that causes your nervous system stress and to do things, in life that you may not want to do. However, that being said, because 95% of them are happening at the automatic level, you're not aware of them. So it's like, how can I control something that I'm not aware of? Yes, I can develop my conscious awareness and enhance what I'm aware of, but yet so much of my life and thought processes I'll never be aware of. How can I do that? Well, in order to do that, you need some customized activities to take a strategical outlook on your life. You need to be able to pull out of your life and actually determine what your main triggers are, what your main stressors are. And I know you know some of them, maybe you know most of them, but there are covert stressors that you're not going to be aware of. There's going to be stressors that, they bother you, but you're not actually going to know how much they bother you, how often they bother you, the impact they're having on your life. So when you're able to go through a very specific process of identifying these triggers, all these triggers, having this inventory list, what you're able to do is, from an external objective perspective, you're able to actually understand that just waking up to your life, you're exposed to different environments. You have work, you have a home, you might have children or a spouse or a family or a community or friends. There's all these environments that you're going to interact with in your day-to-day life. And to the extent you have triggers, stressors in them, your brain is automatically going to process that information. It's impossible not to. So you get exposed to something, your brain is going to process it. If it triggers you, you're going to feel a negative emotion and stress your nervous system. Then you go on to your next environment, stressor, stress to the nervous system, stress to the nervous system. And you can see how all of this drives those, activities or those habits that make you feel better or help you escape, right? So in order to really be able to go up into your thoughts and have this control over your nervous system, you're going to have to develop that conscious awareness. And you're also going to have to be able to identify all your triggers and work through your major ones. Now, the cool thing about triggers is that it's not the actual thing that happened in the past. It's not the actual person or situation today or the possibility in the future. It's your thoughts of it. If you're laying on a, beach chair, enjoying the sun, not thinking anything at all. None of those things exist, right? It's not until you actually get triggered by a thought, you start thinking about it, that that thing exists. So the cool thing is irregardless of what your trigger is, if it's something that you can eliminate, maybe you have a toxic friend or a relationship, you could just end the friendship, leave the person, sell the house you hate, quit the job. Like some things you actually can, physically change. But most people's stressors, there's no control. And that's why they suffer. And they suffer a lot. And they suffer for a long time. But now you know that you can regain control, 100% control actually, because it is your thoughts. It's not the actual things. So when you know this and you strategically work through your big ones, you can wake up and live your life free of this constant triggering. As you go through that process, what you do is you develop your conscious awareness. So going forward, when something new enters your environment, something new triggers you, your brain is already rewired to respond in a different way. If any of this interests you and you'd like to learn more, just book yourself a free intro call. I don't try, push people or sell things or whatever. We can have a conversation. If I can help you, great. If not, guaranteed you're going to learn something from it.